Oh, yeah, I'm streaming now. So don't say anything too crazy now, guys. I'm streaming. It's fine. Yeah, I'm like, it is. Oh, wait, I wonder if I can be heard. Thank you, thank you. Are you gonna be in the class? Yeah. Oh, okay, nice. No worries, no worries. Sure. Let me just. Wait. Can you put your name? Yeah. In there. I need to make a Google form instead of doing this because this is not the best. Yeah, I think that'll be better. All right. Here. Here you go. All right. So let me post the link real quick. So we go here. Ba, 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 ba. Streaming. Yeah, YouTube. Which branch is this? Five? Yeah, this is five. Oh no, no, four, four. Yeah, four. Hmm. So, right, we're all linked up. Hope they keep track of everyone. Will show up. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. It's a bit delayed, but just checking the audio. Put my PC so it doesn't run out of charge. By the way, what the thing? I don't understand. Remember on last week Mm-hmm. about the speed thing? The speed thing, the AI thing? The screen thing on this. I don't understand. Like I don't know, asking you if you could AI thing? Oh, that. The yeah, the the little AI thing, the one that's up front, what is it called? I don't remember the name. But whatever that AI is called, they want they want to have us do what should I call it? They want us make animation. To do animations for it and to like program the AI to be better. The AI. Yeah, so like the AI currently is not that it's more A than I. Yeah. So it's more artificial than intelligent. Yeah. So what uh what it's just like a it's almost like a dog. It's like a Pavlovian response. Is that like you tell it something and it just replies with something that is pre-programmed because of that. So there's not that much reasoning into it. But that's an opportunity. So for us to do like cool stuff on it. So that's why I mentioned you because you are doing like animation stuff. So you have the 2D animations now. I am. currently doing some 3D animations. I might end up basically adding into that for this later. The 3D animations, I'm gonna use a different engine. It's called Panda 3D because I was doing a little bit of that. Pretty cool stuff. It's a bit obviously a bit more complex because when you're dealing with three dimensions, like, and we haven't even gotten to collisions. So before we even go into uh into three dimensions, I wanna get to collisions well. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna teach you a couple of things first. So the first, well, uh, I'm gonna start with a quick little first thing, which is get ignore. So if you take a look, I just added this and I forgot to add this for other stuff, but get ignore is super important. So it's for GitHub, of course, right? And it allows you to ignore certain files. Okay, that is very important. If you're doing Node.js projects, you or any project that requires libraries, usually. So or well, different programming languages do different things. For example, in Python, you will not need it as much. Well, you need it for like this PyCache thing that I don't really know what it does, but it's good to use it for that. But what does it do? When you're committing stuff, right? It includes all of the changes that are on the files that you have currently, right? So I have Richard. Richard, how you doing, man? I'll write you out as if you are here on the class too. Richard. Thank you for coming, man. Right. So, and it's a bit delayed, I know. I don't have the super premium. Yeah, don't worry about, well, whatever. On Twitch is equally delayed, I think. I am streaming on Twitch too. Yeah, I am streaming both. What? Not really, but I have. If you want to watch it, if you want to watch it on Twitch, let me post the link. Uh, might be a bit less. Yeah, it might be a bit less delayed, but I'm not sure. Uh, I'm using 1 second, so let me see. Yeah. So if it is, I'm gonna post the thing on chat right now. So on the YouTube chat. So in case you guys wanna give that a try, I'm gonna put it on the in case you guys wanna check that one out. I'll put it on WhatsApp too. Okay. In case that is less delayed. Okay, whatever. So let's keep talking about get ignore. Okay. So when you are committing a lot of stuff, you know, and you have like self-generating files or libraries that are in your repository that are required to make the program work, but they generate when you run the program. For example, you have the PyCache files here that I'm assuming they use it to. I mean, get cache is a. I can get into what cache theory is another time, but I mean, the simple way of saying it is that you put the things that you're gonna use the most closer to the memory that you have. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. It's not that it uses up less memory. The memory is a lot of things to explain about that, but basically there's a lot of caches actually in your computer, and is a hierarchy of caches. Okay, and it is in a way the things that are more relevant to the things that you're going to be doing. So it is almost like a pyramid in a way. Okay. So, and it gets smaller the closer you go to the top. Why? Because the things that you need to access, access a lot should be less. Because if, let's say so why do I say this? Let me explain actually why I say this. This is important. This is good to know, computer science especially. So why does caches work like this? Good investment though. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, that's why the chat's delayed. But yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But whatever. So, what was I talking about? Why are caches set up this? Because when you're traversing, right? Let's say that you're traversing something, one of these ones, because you have to check your memory for some reason, right? This one will be faster than this one, right? And this one will be faster than this one. So every check that you do through all your memory, this one's gonna be faster. So if you have to do this one a lot of times, uh, the overall time that you spend doing all this stuff will be less, right? So yes, and you want to keep. And the thing is that this is as the memory that you will use the most. So for example, in our game, what will we use the most? Probably the collisions, and also in the game I believe what it's caching for is the images, because the image it needs to be like rechecked a bunch of times. Okay, so like the image needs to be loaded and it needs to have like a some sort of binary of the image closed in its memory so it can read it very fast, so it doesn't have to like do a bunch of other like operations to find it in its memory. Okay, so this cache hierarchy, there's whole theory behind it and like a bunch of mathematical functions behind it, but this is like more or less like the basics of it. And but the cool thing is that this cascades throughout your whole computer. So like even your processor, like by itself has caches, like the memory has caches, the browser has caches, everything has caches. Okay, so yeah, but okay, but that's the thing. So this is self-generating every time you make the code, right? So what is the git ignore? The git ignore is so when you're doing your git commits, okay, you ignore some of the files that you're committing because they're not like intrinsic part of the code, right? Because those PyCache files will regenerate every time, okay? And they will regenerate differently every time you run the game, okay? So you don't really want to every time that you run the game have to do a new commit for something that is basically useless, right? So the git ignore says what to ignore, basically. And what am I telling it to ignore? I'm telling it to ignore so this is the structure, although I'm not sure, maybe I'm doing something wrong here, but I'm doing dot dash. Dot dash means in this directory, remember that? So if you have ever seen how it looks like the directory, like hierarchy in a way, you have like you have a folder. Let me see. Just let me check that. Since and also I should, since I'm not doing that much here.
You have to make a new file for not getting ignore, right?
Yeah, it's called dot git ignore. Oh, and I should really have been doing that since early. My bad, guys. So you have a folder here, the folder here, and it has like a couple. You could have a couple of files or a couple of folders on the inside. So file, file, and then here we have another fold there, and this has a lot, couple extra things. Like how do you navigate this, right? So you would do to navigate this type of stuff. You would do yeah dot dash. So if you are currently here, you do dot dash, right? And then you put the right now you're here, right? And if I want to navigate inside of this folder, then I would do folder that references this that will reference this folder right here, right? And if I just say this, then I'm saying everything inside this folder. But then let's say that I just want to get rid of one file inside of this. I will do dot dash file one dot py, and here I have cache, the cache file. Let's say that for some reason I need the file one, but I don't need the cache. Then I do cache here inside of the git ignore dot is called. Let me get rid of this thing called dot instead of the dot git ignore. And I spent, even though this is like a small thing, I spent some time on this because this is like super used, like this type of like structure. And I hope that it can be seen well on the camera. I turned it sideways a little bit, guys, because otherwise, yeah, otherwise you have all that. I hate this. Otherwise, you have all that sun coming from there. So I have to turn it up a little bit. I need to try to. I'll try to make this better and better as I go along. I'm still trying to figure this thing out, but yeah. All right. So that's that. I'll try to write bigger too. So so make sure to put that git ignore So you don't keep having to commit all those cache files. I think you guys might have noticed that you have to commit cache files every time that you do a commit. If you're doing your Git commits, because I told you they're super important. Let me. Why the hell is this like this? Transform. There you go. All right. So let's go back to the screen. Uh, so what are we doing now? So what is the class today about? So today is about arrays. So take a look at what this game does. Yep. So it draws a line. So this is very important to understand how we're doing this, right? So if you guys remember when when we first did the game, right? And we started drawing the ball. Let me go back to the camera view. Board view. Right. When we first made the game, like that, and we started drawing the ball, it looked something like this, right?
Yeah.
Like because we had like a lot of balls falling and being redrawn, right? Like that, right? The ball looks something like that, right? And now it doesn't look like that anymore, right? Because we're redrawing every time, so the ball looks like it's moving, right?
Right.
Because we're redrawing the entire background. But now I'm trying to achieve the same effect. I'm trying to achieve the same effect, but I'm also redrawing the background. So how do I do that? So how I only have Alberto here right now, like live with me. But if you had to do this, what would be your suggestion to basically achieve the same effect? Yeah, how would you be able to achieve that line? Or like, for example, right now I have a line, but it could also be like a bunch of the balls too.
Yeah, you have to
We could do that actually. Let's
draws like the ball image, like at the same time. It's like every time you move the ball, it just draws a line, you know?
every time you move the ball, it draws a line. But what does that mean? What does that mean? Because think about this, okay? The reason, okay? Let's think about the reason again, okay? The reason that you see this line being drawn of balls, right, is because we are drawing it once and then we're drawing it on top of each other, right? We're drawing it again and again and again and again on top of itself, right? Right?
Yeah.
But now, but now we're drawing it, right? We draw it, then we delete it, and then we draw it down here, right?
Yeah.
So if you say like, okay, we should just draw it again, again and again and again, well, yes, we can draw it again. We can draw it here, and then we can draw it. We can draw it here. But if I deleted the back one, like if I'm resetting the screen every time, I won't be able to have that one there. So the way to do it the way to do it is by having a memory of where you have been, right? Because in order to do this, like let's think about like almost like a treasure map, okay? Like a like a like a pirate treasure map, okay? So let's say you're a pirate, right? And you have a short-term memory loss, right? You're on this island, right? And you have decided to bury your treasure here, right? So you went, and there's a little mountain here, there's a little tree here, there's a little tree here, whatever. There's a little shack here, and you landed here in your little pirate ship. Can that be seen? I should have. Okay, so then you came out here and then you started just wandering, wandering like I like this place, I like that place, da, 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 da. But like as you were going, right? As you were going all the time, you keep forgetting where you were. Like you're here, and then you're like, I forget you just keep walking and then you forget where you were, and then you go around this guy, you forget where you were, you go there, like this guy just keeps like rumbling around, having his little short memory loss. I don't know how he's a pirate like this, how he made it that far, but so the guy just like kept going that way. I need to draw bigger. I draw a little bit. Make it look better. Do a lot bigger. This is an island. This is that palm tree, the big palm tree, the shack, and a nice spot to put your map on, and then the ship down here, right? And then you disembark here, and then you start walking, wandering around, looking for the place, like not really caring, walking around. So what will you do? What should you do to be able to remember
You leave
how
a
to get
trail.
there? You leave a trail, right? And what does that trail mean? What would that trail be like? And how can we represent that trail? A line, but what is a line? What is a line? Like,
Oh, what is the line?
yeah,
Wow. Oh, well, it's not really like, the line's like going straight, right?
yeah.
The line's going straight too.
But mathematically, like they tell you mathematically what is a line?
I don't know the definition. Like,
The union of 2 points,
oh, the
right?
union.
Right?
Yeah,
That's what they usually tell you, right? Like from here
right,
to
from this
here,
one to that. Yeah, yeah.
that's
That's true.
that's a line, right? So how can we and what how do we represent these points?
On a graph,
Yeah,
like X, Y.
right. With XY
Yeah.
coordinates, right? So we have X, comma, Y
Yeah.
coordinates, right?
So that is where the arrays come in.
Yes.
Like,
So our pirate, in order to be able to find himself in this place, he needs to start leaving a trail of his XY coordinates as he's moving,
yeah.
He needs to start writing them down. That way, he will remember where he is and he can remember how to get there, you know? So for every point here, we need to write down in a little list where we have been, and that way we can tell the machine redraw. Every time you're redrawing, redraw it along those lines. Okay? So let's do that. Okay. So let me show you how to do that. So, all right. So I already, but let's do it. Let me do it again with you so we can get a good scene of what's going on here. So that looks, you can see my screen. Good. All right. So how am I gonna do this? Oh yeah, did you already change your stuff to be in modules? Okay. So we're gonna go to the entity model module, right? And now we need to add basically part somewhere to write down or coordinates, right? So like a little list where we can write down all of the steps the pirate's gonna take. Okay, so I have named that place trail. Okay, and also I have also added one thing that says leave trail, so to activate it or deactivate it. So go ahead, uh put this part in your thing. So we need to add self in the constructor too, right? We're doing it on the constructor. Self that leave trail and self the trail, and that these little brackets, remember the little brackets? Those are arrays, okay? So that's an ordered list, okay? So that's where we're going to start putting down all the points that we've been on. Okay. Uh yeah. So we have our little data structure here, which is very, very simple data structure. But now let's write a function that can help us do it. So first, I have um, I have a function that enables it, right? So enable trail self dot enable trail, right? So this will enable the trail, of course. So you got that? Okay, okay. So, oh, two, also I added this other little part. So in disable train, oh, this is not correct. Yeah, disable trail. So in disable trail, you have the leave trail equal to false, right? So I'm making false. I am emptying the trail. So I'm turning the trail back into an empty array. So if I want to stop leaving a trail and then I want to leave a trail again, it will be a new trail because otherwise it would continue with the old trail, you know? So basically I'm deleting the map that I drew. So draw trail. So I have another thing here. So take a look. So now I want you to think about this part. So I have something that will enable trail and do that. I don't want you to look at the function. Uh, Try to think about how you would draw the trail. What would you do to draw the trail?
Draw the trail.
Yeah.
I think you would like basically like like store like you said like in an array, store it everywhere you went, like everywhere the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I'm understanding. Like everywhere the ball
Yeah.
next store, then. But that's the one thing I don't understand. Like, when does it delete? Because the line's always there. The trail's always there. When does it delete? You know what I mean?
So
Is it saying like deletes it? No. Like
it
it
is
empties the
deleting it.
list. Does
It
that mean it just empties the list like so it can update it?
Well, no. So, for example, I don't in the current code, I don't use disable trail. That's just for something else.
Yeah.
So, think that the only thing I'm using is enabling the trail. I'm enabling it.
Oh right.
Okay. So that might confuse you a little bit, but so I
Yeah.
enable the trail, right? Now, so that just means that this function is being used. Okay. If And what does that function do? Well, no. So there's one thing that is happening. So maybe that will clarify it for you too a little bit. In the update, I have also added, if you look at here at the end of the update, so remember that this is what's happening. This is you could say the integrated method. This is what's happening every update, right? So every time that like a new frame.
Yeah.
So like this happens 60 times a second, okay? So if the leaf trail flag is true, meaning that I have enabled the trail, I am appending the position X and the position Y, okay?
Right.
And then I am calling the self draw trail function. So what does this mean? It means that first off, I am saving my current position. So if I am the pirate and I am saving my position here, say my position as let's say the 0, comma 0. Let's say that this is 0, comma 0, and then I went up a little bit. This would be, and I went sideways a little bit, so 1 and minus 1, because remember that going up
Yeah.
is minus y, and then I go a little bit over here, so I still want, so I have 2, comma, minus 2, right? And so on, right? So I'm saving these little pieces of information in a list that is going to look kind of like this. So I would put 0, comma 0 here, and then another comma, and then another 1, comma minus 1 here, comma, and then 2, comma minus 2, comma. And this got filled out, this on 3/60ths of a second, because it's happening 60 times a second, right? In the what would it be like in the first 3 milliseconds. So this happens every millisecond per se, right? This happens on millisecond 1, 2, and 3. I got this data, right? Or like centisecond, whatever. No, let's not think about that. I'm gonna confuse everyone. So, but yeah, this happened very fast, right? And my program says to draw this. Okay, so if I am at the start, what my program is gonna draw is bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, right? And as we know, we delete everything every time. So I draw this because this is what I draw point from here to here, from here to here, right? And then I delete it, right? Then I delete it. I'm gonna delete the whole thing, so delete the whole thing. I draw the whole thing. That's what the draw trail does. Deletes the whole thing, right? But I have saved the positions already. Yeah. So then I get the next position. So let's say that that goes just up a little bit. So I'm gonna say 2 comma minus 3. Okay. So in the next loop, I draw a longer one because I have added an extra data point in the next loop. So then the next loop, and then I delete it again. And then I delete it again. And then I add an extra loop. So let's say now I'm just going to the right. So I say 3, comma, 3. That means just to the right. So bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, bada bang, bada bang. Okay, I draw that. And then I delete it again. And then I make another one, another data point, and so on, right? And that's how this thing looks like a line. Because I am deleting the line every time, but every time I redraw the line, it's a little bit longer because I have added an extra data point to the list, right? So that's what, because if you see here, at the beginning of every time at the beginning of the in the main function, you can see here that I believe, where is that? So game.update. I believe that, no, that's on the game.update. Oh yeah, so game is the background, right? So in the game, we're drawing the entire background again. So that is the draw function. So that is either you draw the background that you have or you draw a white screen on the background, right? And that basically deletes the entire thing that was behind, correct? You delete it, and then you add a data point, and then you draw that whole list again. So the append method is to add a data point to the array, right? Right. So yeah, and then what is the draw trail? Basically, it's just Pygame draw lines, and there's a very convenient method. The usually you would have to do like a for loop for this, and the for loop is already done for you on this case. But basically, I will get into loops later. Loops are very important. Wow. Yeah, loops, while loops, but basically, yeah, it just says that basically for every like for every data point that you have here, draw from here to here to here, and we have a very it, oh, that actually, yeah. So the if you see there, we have the length self trail. So there is a basically a cute little case about it here. So because about that, this little function, right? Yeah. Requires more than two items to be in the array to work. Oh. Because oh, right. Because if you only have one point, that's not a line, right? So you need that's what that does. Basically, it won't call the function if it's less than two values, you know? So it's checking like the self-trail array, like that is more than two. That is more than two values. Otherwise you call that function, it'll give you an error because it will say that you need more than one point. So yeah, so that does that. So that shows us that. So now let's try to modify it a little bit. Let's try to make it a bit more interesting. Let's try to actually make it the ball again. Okay? So make sure that we know because I want to make sure that we understand this stuff. So we'll actually let's do a loop for it. Is this showing? Hello? Where's the right? Oh, we're going to do that, yeah. So look at that. So I have this, right? And I'm using that little convenient function to draw the line, right? But now we're going to draw the ball again every time there. Okay? So let's do that. So first off, let's comment out. So control slash the pygame.draw line. Okay? So we'll comment that out. Now, so we're gonna make a while loop with that with or with our trail. Okay, So we'll do uh, while and hold on, let me just check uh, what the nomenclature is real quick. So Python while loop. So let me check this real quick so I can remember how to make it because I want to make a specific one. There's one that is pretty intuitive to look at. So yeah, so this one. So let me
Oh, for look.
while loop. So I'm gonna do just let me make sure that I see exactly how to make it because I don't do that much. Oh, actually no. Oh no, yeah, it's a for loop. Yeah. So I'll do uh
Then
4 points in is it called 4 point? No, it will be 4 point in self dot trail. Yep, 4 points in self dot trail. So that is for every point that we have in the self dot trail, we will draw the ball on that position. So let's take a quick look at our draw function. So screen.blit. So let me just copy that guy right there. So screen.blit self.image. And instead of doing self.position like that, I will do point zero because I'm checking this variable up here, point in brackets 0, point brackets 1.
X1.
Not dot, just like brackets because we're getting the first item and the second item, right? So the X and the Y. Let's run it. Oh, again, don't never run it on the entity or in the class, run it on the main. Let's take a look. Looks like we have a problem. Invalid destination for blit. Let's take a look. I think I did it in the wrong format. Yep. Entity. Oh yeah. So just put parentheses around these two guys. So they are in one little parentheses thing. There you go.
Both.
Yeah. Go. And there you go. Take a look. You see?
Like a worm.
Yeah, it's like a little worm. You see? So now how can we yes, I will. Now that's yes. So for example, if we want to make a snake, right? Now that's what interesting about the snake game. So think about that. I like that you say that because yeah, snake kind of works like this too. But now snake,
Like numbers. Making it like marker. That's
but it has a specific length though, right? So now what if we say that don't go for all the length, let's just go for a certain amount of length, right? So let's say that we have like now we have a list of coordinates that is the or history of where we have been, right?
yeah.
So now, yeah, let me get rid of all this. So for example, yes, that's how we can make the snake game. And also I wanna couple things. So here I'm gonna add a couple of cool little methods, okay? To because for example, there's two things that I want to do here. Okay, so it looks a little bit too full there.
Yeah.
What if we want to like spread it out a little bit? So for example, that I don't want it to be just like this, like full snake looking thing. I want it to be something like this. I want it to be like points.
Oh.
So I need to add a little bit of a delay between each of the data points, like every time it gets data points. Okay, so let's do that. So for example, let's close it. So let me show you how to add basically a delay. That's something. Yeah, you can do that. So for example, let's first we need a counter. So let's add a little counter here, so we can keep track of what the delay is. So we'll call it self dot trail delay. We'll make it equal to 0. Okay. So we have just a value that is equal to 0, right? Now we will make it here. So, and then we'll make it, we will only leave a trail if that value is above a certain value. So we'll say like if self dot leave trail or self dot what is the trail, what do I call it, trail delay, if self dot trail delay is greater than, we'll say like 10, so every 10 frames. So okay, we will first let's make sure that we reset it. Self dot uh trail delay is equal to 0, right? So that will reset it, and then at the end of that we make it so the counter keeps ticking up on every time. So self dot trail delay is equal to self dot trail delay plus 1. So what does this mean? So keep in mind, look, keep in mind of the hierarchy of the functions, right?
Yeah.
That the delay is outside of the if statement, right? So this one will happen all the time, no matter what, okay? And this other bracket here will only happen if it's greater than 10. So it will count, it will start counting up, it will reach 10, and when it reaches 10, it will go back to 0 because I am resetting it to 0. You see that it's equal to 0 here. And then it will also
Leave trail inside of the delay.
the leaf trail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, and this probably should be the other way around, but it's whatever. I don't want to confuse you too much, but I mean, if you notice, like this probably should be the other way around. So actually, let's do it. It's not that complex, but so basically, what you have to do is swap this between each other. So what I'm gonna do is grab this guy. I'm gonna put it out here because this is the because why what's the logic behind this is that if I am not leaving trail the if I don't have the leave trail enabled, then why would I start the counter, right? So if the leave trail counter is available, then only then I should like actually run this application, this run this. So if that's enabled, then I'm gonna start counting up. If it's greater than 10, yeah. So and this type of stuff can start getting like more and more complex. Append with self self append draw trail. Yeah, no, that is correct. So this type of hierarchy is super important to get it right, especially for robotics applications and for like electronics applications.
Yeah.
This type of stuff is super important to get it right because you will have this type of stuff that fluctuates, and you need to keep a counter so you know when to activate something or when to deactivate something. Is very very important. Okay,
Right.
so first off is, do we even want to leave a trail? Okay, first we check that value. If we don't want to leave a trail, then we don't care about anything else, right? Then if we want to leave a trail, then we are gonna pick up the counter and then we're gonna ask ourselves, is the delay within the boundary that we want to activate it? And if it is, then we will reset the timer so like it goes back to 0 and then you can start counting up to 10 again, right? And append and all that. So let's take a look at what it looks like now. Oh, go back to entity there. Ah, right. So, oh, let me just, so, but you can see that. So now what happened there is that I'm not drawing the trail all the time. So what I should draw the trail is if, and this is good that I isolated these functions, which is good. So I'm just gonna move the draw trail out of that if statement. You see that? So now the draw trail will happen no matter what. So this the trail gets drawn even if there has not been an update to the list. So now it's gonna be better. So I go here. Let me check the chat. Any questions? I don't think there's any questions right now. So let's take a look. Oh, still the same. What happened? Oh, let's take a look. Oh. Maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna put it up here. Maybe didn't understand exactly what I was telling it to do. Or maybe it's just an old one. Actually, I don't think that this should work. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was doing it on an old version. Yes. Let me. Yes. Yep. It's doing it right. Yep. That should work. Ah, not here, of course. Here. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. A little bit better, right? A little delay. You got it? Did it work?
Um, I haven't found all of them. Like I can't leave.
Oh, sorry. Let me give you some time. If anyone has any questions, let me know. So take a look. This is what it looks like. If leave trail, right? If we leave a trail, then we will add one to the counter, right? Can you see one from there? Okay, let me make it bigger. Let me make it bigger. There.
Yeah.
There you go. I should have made it bigger from before. There you go. That's the whole thing. This right here is the whole thing. Let me know if it works. So we have the delay, then what's the other thing that I want? Oh, let me know if you got it to work, and then
Yeah.
take your time. And if you got questions, let me know. What else on the audience? If anyone has any questions, let me know.
No, use the like why there's like a so it's like an, an if statement instead of an if statement.
Yes.
So
So
like
let's keep in mind. Let's.
so
Sorry, go ahead. No,
no, I'm trying to like understand a bit like the first thing it's like what the self trail delay it's delaying like the what the like what like plus one like can
so
you like
yeah. Let me
make like
explain.
time?
No. So don't think. So maybe the name is confusing. That's why. So let me change the name because yeah, that's not truly the what it's doing. So we'll call it counter.
So it's counting like down,
It's
counting up.
counting. Yes, counting up. So let me change the name. Actually, oh yeah, cool little trick. If you press F2, you can change the name of a variable and change the name of all the other variables. So counter. Yep, trail counter, and you see all my trail delays will change to trail counter. Yeah. So what? So let's see. What are we doing here? So the trail counter, right? We're counting every time that we are that every time we are inside of this loop. Let's first think about that. Let's every time that we go inside of this loop, right?